As students, we all have this shared understanding of staying up till 5 a.m. whenever we fall into an intense preoccupation with a specific topic. Diving into Wikipedia rabbit holes, binging a Netflix or anime series, being unable to put a book down, and more. And so, I can confidently say that within the last year or so, The Great Gatsby has lived in my head rent-free. I am absolutely entranced by its profound beauty, so much so that within the last year or so, I have read The Great Gatsby 3 times, listened to its audiobook twice, watched the 2013 Leonardo DiCaprio movie, and own 2 separate copies of the book. I've spent hours watching Gatsby edits, listening to the movie's playlist, analyzing quotes from within the book, and even reading through subreddits pertaining to it. Honestly though, how can you not fall in love with a book with this kind of prose? For a transitory, enchanted moment, man must have held his breath in the presence of this continent, compelled into an aesthetic contemplation he neither understood nor desired, face to face for the last time in history with something commensurate to his capacity for wonder. Beautiful, right? In the countless edits involving Trimalchio, or what is now known as The Great Gatsby, that particular sentence has stayed exactly the same. Same position in the text, same wording. Well, Fitzgerald did spell aesthetic wrong in one of his earlier copies, but we'll let that pass. However, there is something I've learned from years of laborious literature analysis. The most beautiful lines are not always ones that encapsulate entire truths. In saying, for the last time in history with something commensurate to man's capacity for wonder, there is a clear rejection of humanity's ongoing scope for hope and wonder. In fact, a few years after Fitzgerald published his novel, we would go on unimaginable ventures of space exploration. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin of the Soviet Union became the first man to make a single orbit of the Earth. He did so in 108 minutes, traveling at more than 17,000 miles per hour. Yet, that was just the beginning of our fixation with the exploration of the cosmos. In the last decade or so, we've sent the first operational rover atop an asteroid, grown food in space, it was lettuce, by the way, and witnessed astronomical wonders from the Hubble Space Telescope. The list goes on, and so, contrary to the notion brought up by Fitzgerald's character, Europeans setting eyes on New York was not the last time that we as human beings would gaze at something commensurate to our capacity for wonder. Really, wonders do not cease to exist. They are not solely contained in constellations, big masses of rock, and empty black voids. However, we do shy away from gazing and cherishing said wonders. Our appreciation for the little, somewhat minute wonders in our world diminishes. We stray away from acknowledging the picturesque beauty of sunsets, the fictitious nature of color, the mysteries that come with the cosmos, that feeling in our chest we get when we listen to a song we really like, and more. Some might argue that this is as a result of our evolved understanding of the scientific basis behind certain wonders, but I beg to differ. I think that through the enlightenment provided by scientific basis, the beauty and profundity of these wonders are only alleviated. Sunsets, for example, are created when a beam of sunlight strikes the atmosphere and causes something called scattering to occur, which causes some of the wavelengths of light to branch off in different directions. They scatter the shorter wavelengths in particular, aka blue and violet wavelengths, which, by the way, is one of the reasons why the sky is blue. Now that these shorter wavelengths have been dispersed, we get to witness a glorious photography-like image of reds, oranges, and pinks. And voila, a sunset. When it comes to music, we get a tight feeling in our chests when we listen to the music we really like because it stimulates a reward pathway in our brain that encourages dopamine to flood a part of the forebrain, activated by addiction and reward. I believe that science makes things more beautiful. In understanding certain phenomena, we gain an appreciation for wonders and beauties of the world that we gaze upon and experience every day. Sunsets aren't just brushstrokes of paint, they are precise fictions of light. Galaxies are not just composed of little white lights in the sky, but of stars, moons, comets, nebulae, dusts, planets, and black holes. Learning all the little intricacies and nooks and crannies of our world only make it more interesting and enthralling. So, why do we stray away from wonders? In its essence, it is a matter of vulnerability. and looking at anything and everything through a metaphorical lens of wonder and awe. A certain caliber of vulnerability is a prerequisite. As I was growing up, there was always a small part of me that was a bit scared to completely turn itself and gaze upon the world in all of its beauty. Looking back, I realized that the reason I was always afraid of looking at the world in a more hopeful, less cynical manner was because I felt that in looking at the world's beauties, its horrors and inadequacies were somehow being ignored, or that more important matters needed to be discussed and contemplated. Every day we witness constant reminders of all the bad in our world. Sometimes it feels as if we are in an endless cycle of ignorance, cruelty, and destruction. But the world we live in is not just a place of despair and hopelessness. I hear stories of good Samaritans picking up groceries for the more vulnerable in our society. I think of the sentences in almost 60 languages that we've sent out to outer space with phrases such as, "Friends of space, how are you? Have you eaten yet? Come visit us if you have the time." Or, my personal favorite, "Greetings from a computer programmer in a small university town on planet Earth. Are you well?" I see tributes to nurses, doctors, and medical professionals fighting COVID-19 at the risk of their own lives. I witness the contribution of teachers in ensuring the continuity of student learning. I listen to tales of solidarity, compassion, and empathy, and I am reminded of all the good in our world. Yes, old sport, there is good in our world, and there most certainly is a reason for hope. I am quite fond of our capacity for hope and wonder, and so I welcome the prospect of allowing myself to be vulnerable, if only I can experience something commensurate to my capacity for hope and wonder.